So at the beginning of my last vlog, the one where I went to the hot springs, I had mentioned that I was initially supposed to go on Monday or Tuesday, but that ended up not working out. The weather wasn't great on Monday, so I was supposed to go on Tuesday. And the reason why I wanted to get it done earlier in the week was for a couple of reasons. One, they needed all of the stuff shot before the end of February, and the end of February was on Friday. And so I wanted to get it done early in the week. And plus, if I got it done early in the week, it would, I would have time to edit a video and upload it and post it on YouTube, which I've usually normally been doing on Fridays. So that was a big reason why I wanted to get it done early in the week. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. The people at the hot springs, they asked if I could come on Friday instead, which was the last day I was able to do it. So I didn't have much to do during the week last week, but I didn't want to sit around and not do anything. So I spent time, something that I've been neglecting but needing to do is updating my cinematography reel. It's been about, probably like a year and a half since I've updated it. So I spent, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, kind of digging through my old hard drives, which is probably the most time consuming part of trying to update your reel, is just digging through all of your old hard drives and finding, where each piece of footage is that you want to include. So last week, that's what I spent time doing, gathering all the footage to use in my reel. And I didn't get a finish. So that's what I'm going to spend time doing this week, is finishing up. I actually found all the footage. Now I just got to edit it, put it together. And then I also want to update my website. It's been a while since I've updated it. And the one thing I've found is the longer, the older I get and the longer I do things, the less time I spend, trying to be elaborate. I really want to simplify my website. I actually just want to do one page, just have my reel on there, maybe a couple photos of like some interview setups, just like maybe one sentence about who I am. That's all I really need. I'm not looking to do anything. I'm not going to write a couple paragraphs about myself. A sentence or two will do just fine. And then maybe some contact info. So that's what I'm going to work on this week. I'd take you along on some of that process, see what it looks like. Because I spend, a lot of time here in my office. I know I don't share too much of that. Most of my vlogs are when I'm out doing production, but, a big portion of the revenue I bring in comes from me editing my videos as well. So I think it's about time that I start taking you along on that side of the business too. And just to elaborate on that point a bit, I haven't really shared too much when it comes to like the pre and post-production work that I often do. And that is a large part of what my job entails. It makes up a good portion of the revenue that I bring in. Being from a low population state, there aren't many jobs where the production side is needed. Oftentimes people are looking for someone that can do it all. So far in my career, I've mostly been a one-man band, but not only when it comes to things like filming and lighting and audio on a production set, but also when it comes to things like idea generation, shot list creation, direction, editing, transcribing, all the pre and post-production work that's involved in making videos. And I don't mind it. Sure, it's nice to get the occasional job where I just hand the footage off and I don't have to worry about taking the work back home with me. But on the other hand, the jobs that I do have to edit, they allow me to make more money. And it also means that I don't have to travel as much, which is nice for someone like me with a family, where I can stay home and I can still make money, being at home in my office. So here's a quick look at my current website. I have this piece here where I have videos, just looping throughout the website. There's some drone shots, some other. I haven't updated this in a couple years actually, but I have that. And then I have a little blurb about, what Smoke Signal is. That's my business. I might take that out. I'm not positive. And then I have my reel here that people can play. A little button that says get in touch if they need to contact me, a little bit about me. It's an old profile picture that I used. It just says Smoke Signals owned and operated by Scott Smoker. And then that links to my personal website, which again, it's just very simple. It's just a bunch of artwork that I have on there that I've done over the years. That's actually how I got started in video production. I used to do art, and then I wanted to document, what I was making. So I learned how to use a camera. That was, back, 6, 7, 8 years ago, back when I was posting a lot of stuff on Instagram. I don't even have Instagram anymore. I do artwork here and there, something I'd like to get back into, but my business here keeps me pretty busy. So what I want to change about this is I might do something like really simple. You could chime in too. Tell me if you think, maybe that's the wrong thing to do, but I kind of want to make something just like a one-page website. Right when you come to my website, I'd have my reel up top, and then below I'll just have a little thing about myself, a quick sentence, and then maybe a contact box towards the bottom. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if I want too much more on my website. One of the things that I do want to steal though from the Cranky Cameraman, David Winters, on his website, which I thought was cool, is he has a whole section, a whole page called interviews, where it's just stills from a lot of the interviews that he's shot. And I'm sure that people that are looking to hire him look at this page, and then that's pretty much all they need to see is like, yeah, we're going to hire him. So that's something I kind of want to take from him and put on my website, but I'm also trying to keep it simple. So I don't know if I want to do a separate page or if I should just do it on the landing page that I got on my website. But this is definitely something that, I want to emulate. All right, it's the next morning. I think today I'm going to try and edit and finish up my reel. But first I have a couple emails that I need to respond to. And then I think I'm going to go get a coffee. And then after that, I'll work on my reel. But for now, I'm going to get these emails out of the way. I don't know how you all feel about emails, but they used to be kind of hard for me in that I spent too much time crafting responses to people. Partly because I know tone doesn't come across very well in text-based communication. But in the past couple years, I've learned to just try and be more straightforward and to the point with my emails. Just because I would spend too much time crafting a response and I was wasting time. But I feel like because it's email though, it can come across as like, I don't want to say rude, but maybe like short, which can be interpreted as rude, if that makes sense. So if you've ever gotten an email from me and it was to the point, that wasn't me being rude. It's just me intentionally trying to be efficient. And while we're on the topic of emails, one thing I think we as a society or culture need to do away with is signing off on every email, maybe even any email in general. I typically tend to go with like the default thanks and then my name, but there's times where ending your email with thanks doesn't make sense. So I've even Googled like common ways to sign off on an email. And I think the popular one now, or a common one, is best, which to me, I've tried it, but I just can't bring myself to use it. There's something about it to me that feels like kind of pretentious. I mean, I'm not judging if you use that. I'm just saying it's not for me. And so lately, if I can't end an email with thanks, I've just been ending it with my name. I'll just put Scott or just my email signature. But I guess now that I'm talking about this, I'm really curious, like what are your guys' thoughts on email etiquette? How do you tend to tackle your emails? I know for me, I used to spend way too much time crafting responses and I was wasting time. So now
what works for me is just to get straight to the point. And I just hope it doesn't come across as rude.
So like I mentioned, I did a lot of the legwork of gathering all the footage last week. And I have it all laid out on a timeline. And what I did with my last reel was I kind of broke it down into sections. I think it was about a minute long. And I broke it down into these different sections. I did, one with like sort of my documentary style type of shots. I put those all in one section, and then I had another section for interviews, corporate interviews. I did a lot of drone stuff. I did one with events, and then I did like a wildlife portion, and that was obviously from when I had, shots of the buffalo. I think I might take that section out. If I do that again, I'd probably take the wildlife part out and just include that in the documentary portion. But I don't know. Most of the reels that I've seen, people don't tend to label them. I labeled mine with each section. I started it off with, I think, the drone shots, and then I went into documentary style and all those shots, and then I went into interviews. And I might do that again. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What, how do you tend to tackle if you've done a reel, how do you, what's your thought process of how you move from one section to the next? I guess that's kind of what I'm figuring out right now. So like I said, I have all my stuff laid out here in a timeline. I'll show you what it looks like. So I have all my shots in a timeline. I'm thinking of starting out with the corporate interview section first, because I feel like a lot of times they're looking for, can you light an interview setup? And so I was thinking of starting my reel off with my interviews. I have a couple that I've picked out. I don't know if I'm going to use all of them. Then I was going to move into like a documentary section. I have a lot of shots of these teepees that I did. I don't think I'm going to use all of them because I don't want my reel to be too long, a minute at most. If it's shorter than that, cool. I have, like these shots of these teepees that I think are really great. I have some from a powwow here locally. This was in Poplar Indian Days back in September. I have some really nice shots there. And I wanted to include, like a lot of, I have, the jingle dress dancers here, the teepees. I have another one back here, some singers. And I just kind of want to highlight the fact that I do a lot of work in Indian country, and I'm looking to do more work in Indian country. A lot of my clients are, natives or native businesses, organizations. A good majority of my work is that. So I thought I'd, lean into that, and because there's obviously a need there for video. So I feel like I can kind of fill that gap of, a lot of people need video. I provide that service, and, it's just about, making yourself known to people. And, I understand our culture. I understand our community. So I feel like I'd be a good fit for a lot of these organizations. Not to say that that's all the work that I do is only with natives. I'll work with anyone. If you're watching this and you're not native, I'm more than willing to work with you. And so that's what I'm going to work on here for the next couple days. And we'll see. Right now I have about, I have like 3 minutes worth of footage that I'm definitely going to cut down. A lot of these clips are way too long. I'm probably not going to use all of them, especially like the ones with the teepees. There's too many. I only need a couple of those. But yeah, that's what I'm going to work on here in the next couple of days. And I will be sure to upload and show you my reel when it's finished.